And now it's time for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Hey everybody, welcome to another behind-the-scenes look at a RoadWorthy Drive in the RoadWorthy Drive studios. As usual, here with the usual suspects, Jack on the board, hello, Sasha in the corner, and of course yours truly. Before I get started, this is the next to last hour that we're doing of this season. When we do our next show and our final hour, we're going to take a couple weeks off, do the holidays, and we'll be back after the first of the year. So next to last one. Now, in breaking news, we're going to talk about the LA Auto Show. We're going to talk about the 2019 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 convertible. This is a serious fast drop top. We're going to also talk about the replacement for the Nissan Juke, much to the chagrin of Sasha, and that is the Nissan Kicks crossover, made for the growing urban commuter market. Our subjects, we're going to talk about turning your electric car literally into an ATM. We're going to talk about Ward's 10 best engines. And I ask, so what? I'm wondering if you even know what that even means, Ward's 10 best. But we'll talk about that and explain why, not so much. And then finally, in the fourth in the fourth sequence, in the fourth segment, I'm going to rant. It's time for a rant-worthy moment. I'm overdue.
And are you going to stand up when you do this?
Probably. This one's really got me kind of wound. So we'll be doing that. All this and more right here, this hour of RoadWorthy Drive Behind the Scenes. And so glad that you could be with us. Okay. Are we ready, people?
Yes, sir.
And my mic sounds funny.
Your mic should not sound funny.
Okay.
I had to turn you down, though.
Oh, that's probably why. People turn me down a lot.
Yeah, I had to. You were coming off a little tinny.
A tinny, huh?
Well, you were also coming off very, very hot for some reason, and we can't figure it out why.
I'm not touching that.
So, Sasha, are you good?
We good
this
here?
is part of the behind-the-scenes, folks, where we have to do
calibration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound calibration. Yeah, for radio.
Are you good, Sasha?
Oh, I'm really good, yes.
Yeah,
is the audio
wise.
good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
11 minutes, sir?
11 minutes.
First segment.
First segment.
All yours.
Thank you, sir. Here we go.
Do you want to go faster? Yeah!
It's time for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester. Ken is a nationally syndicated automotive journalist and photographer who has been in and around the industry for over 30 years. So tune in for your fill of automotive information and entertainment with your automotive ringmaster, Ken Chester.
Welcome, one and all, to another information-packed hour of RoadWorthy Drive. I'm your host, automotive journalist and photographer, Ken Chester. Thank you for dropping by. If you listen on a regular basis, you know I have plenty to talk about and share with you, and this hour is no exception. In a few minutes, it's all about the Los Angeles Auto Show and two notable vehicles that were introduced there. You're going to want one of each of these under your tree. That's breaking news. Later on during the second segment, it's all about the Benjamins as I talk about how your electric car may pay you in its spare time. And after that, it's a talk about Best Engine Awards. Do they really matter to you? I mean, is it something that you've got to know whether the best engine in your car is on a list? Does that even factor into your purchases? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We'll talk about it. And then finally, I'm going to end this hour going a bit rant-worthy. It seems that no matter how I rail against things like this, it still happens. And you're going to want to stay tuned to see what's got my blood boiling this hour. As always, you can be part of the program. Call or text me on the RoadWorthy Drive line, that number, 872-222-9793. And that's anytime. That's ask a question, suggest a story idea, or share a comment. If you're of the writing persuasion, email me. That's ken@roadworthydrive.com. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. RoadWorthy Drive is a team effort. As a result, we're required to have a designated adult at the controls at all time when the show is underway, and that gentleman who always seems to draw the short straw in these things is my friend and executive producer, Jack DeLeon. Hey there, Jack.
Ken, let me be the first one to wish you Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you, sir, and the same to you.
Thank you, and I wish Sasha Merry Christmas as well.
As she smiles.
Happy holidays.
Okay, you two.
That might just be a problem right there.
Okay, you two behave now.
We're behaving. Okay, Ken, here's what I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to start some trouble.
Why should this week be any different, Jack?
Exactly.
Okay.
Why didn't we approach the suits for the three of us to go to the Los Angeles Auto Show?
Because they told me up front it wasn't in the budget.
Is anything in the budget?
No.
That's what.
Remember, this is a room we can't even get new chairs.
Oh,
Now they can fix the floor in the elevator,
yeah.
but we can't get new chairs.
Well, but they had to fix the floor in the elevator.
Yeah, we need new chairs too.
Well, I know that.
But anyway.
Let's talk about the LA Auto Show.
Okay. Well, first of all, the LA Auto Show's been around roughly for about 120 years. Well, not quite 120, 110 years, I should say.
Okay, what's the longest running car show?
Ooh, boy. I want to say that either Detroit or New York may be a little bit longer. I'm thinking maybe Chicago. Not Chicago, I'm sorry. One of the other three. See, they're what I consider the big four.
Okay,
That
tell
would
us what
be
the big four are.
That would be Detroit,
Right.
Chicago in February,
Correct.
New York in April,
Okay.
and then the LA show, which is held in December. Well, late November, December. December 1st through the 10th was this year's LA Auto Show.
Okay.
So basically, you're looking at anywheres, depending on one of those shows, anywheres from roughly about 750,000 square feet to just over 1 million square feet under roof.
Mm-hmm.
LA comes in at about 860, depending what you're looking at. It's about 760 under roof and probably another 130,000 square feet outside.
Okay.
So you've got that going on, and it draws a lot of people. And up till now, a lot of your foreign makes would do the LA Auto Show because, of course, in the West Coast, your foreign makes or your Asian makes were more popular then. So, but in recent years, the automakers, even Detroit, has introduced some vehicles there at LA. One that I want to talk about has a top speed of 212 miles an hour.
Here we go again.
Ludicrous speed!
Oh my.
Go!
That sounds like my kind of car.
Yeah, well, if you have $123,995, you too can own a 2019, not 2018, 2019 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 convertible.
Jack, I'm going to need a small loan.
You're talking to the wrong
orange.
dude.
In bright orange.
And here's the other thing. You know, Ken keeps telling us the suits don't have the budget for us.
Right.
Why aren't you and I in these budget meetings?
I don't know. I don't think that they're putting the monetary into the right budgeting areas, because I totally agree with you.
Yeah, well, you know what? Talent here. That's all you guys need to know. This particular car has a top horsepower of 755.
Again, what could possibly go wrong with this?
Yeah, and it's top down too. Forget the wind in your hair. How about your wig or your toupee flying off your head?
I would have that problem.
That's why they wear a hat.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bet on a hat on a car like that.
Well, and how high up is the roof compared to where you're sitting?
Well, that's not the problem.
Windshield.
That's not the problem. It's just at the speeds that car can go, even a hat wouldn't stay on with the top down.
You're right.
That's the whole point.
Where are you going that you're actually going to be able to attain that kind of speed?
Highway 1, the 5, the
405 at night, very late at night.
Very late at night.
And that's all I'm admitting to. Let's just say a certain automotive journalist a number of years ago was driving a certain German car top down, radio cranked up,
of course,
and in low triple digits, coming up the middle of the 405 by Camp Pendleton. That's all I'm admitting to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The radio was fine. Radio worked perfect, even at that speed. It was a wonderful thing. That's all I'm admitting to.
This is his story, and he's sticking to it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Something a little more in your price class, Sasha.
Oh, of course.
And I gotta break this to you gently.
No.
This new vehicle replaces the Nissan Juke. Nissan
No!
Juke. Yes.
No, but
Thank you, God.
Yes.
No!
May I introduce the 2018 Nissan Kicks?
What is? I'm going to have to look it up. Describe it for me.
It is a compact crossover aimed at the city living consumer, which seems to be the fast-growing market. Toyota's got its CHR.
Right.
That's aimed at that. Other automakers have introduced, Honda's introduced the HR-V, which is in that realm. It seems that the small crossover market is aimed at kind of the active living urban consumer.
So basically what they're trying to do is do a small car that's an SUV, that's a crossover.
Actually, they're doing a crossover that
resembles a small car.
Yeah.
It's not very appealing. It's
well,
ugly.
actually, to be blunt,
yes, sir.
sales are going crazy. And honestly, this thing's actually they're planning to build this thing or sell this thing in 80 countries.
I can understand. It looks like everything else.
Well, hold on. They currently build it in Mexico, Brazil, and through a joint venture in China right now.
But it's going to be available here
in the
in
United
US.
States this spring.
And where is it coming from?
Probably Mexico.
Okay.
But the thing is, you know, what you're seeing is that even in the lower priced vehicles, a higher level of equipment, there's a lot of standard safety equipment in this vehicle. Now, I will point out that you can't get all-wheel drive, which means I'm like, in the north, why would I want this thing? But
why is it termed a crossover then if it's...
Because it's a crossover, not an SUV. And you can still buy an SUV that's not all-wheel drive.
Yes, but you got the option.
Drive.
Not always.
Does this thing have an option for four-wheel drive?
No.
Okay, so basically what I've got is You've
got a front-wheel drive crossover.
I got a two-wheel drive paperweight in the snow.
Not necessarily.
Thank you.
No, I disagree. With the right tires, traction control, stability control, really the technical advantages have mitigated all-wheel drive.
May I discuss something with Sasha?
Yes.
Oh, my.
How much snow? This much snow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not driving no way. If it's that much snow.
No, if there's that much snow, I can get through in my truck. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but here's my price point.
Can afford a truck.
As low as that vehicle is.
Yep.
How in the world do you think you're going to get through the snow here? You're not.
Well, not
in
only
any passenger car, same problem.
Okay, but for the price point, why would I waste my money on a front-wheel drive and they're claiming it's a crossover when I can get like a CRX or...
CRV.
CRV, thank you. I don't know why I keep saying X. But anyway, CRV or something like that will give me the four-wheel drive.
They believe there's a market for it, and as things are bearing out, they're right. We'll just have to see. When I get one, we'll talk about that for sure. But yes, this thing is coming. It's standard, a lot of stuff, a long list of standard equipment, a quality interior, and a futuristic design. And they really think that people will respond to that. And I guess time will tell. So, when I return, it's all about cha-ching, how your electric car is going to pay you. And then later on in the show, we talk about something called Ward's 10 Best Engine Awards. To me, I say, so what? So what? You know, there's so many. Oh, my goodness. While he's doing that, folks, don't touch that dial. This is RoadWorthy Drive.
Sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling.
Do you have a question, idea, or comment for Ken? You can let him know by calling 872-888-9793. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Leave Ken a voicemail message or a text.
What do you mean? I know. I was under.
No. That piece of music was nowhere near 30 seconds.
Oh, that's not what I was worried about.
Okay.
I was worried about you making the outro. It was very tight.
I made the outro.
Okay. I wasn't worried about how long that piece was.
Okay.
I was worried not for that reason. I was worried about making time.
You made time. We're fine.
Yeah, because I started bailing early, not knowing you were going to fill that. So that actually worked out rather well.
It's amazing what happens.
Yeah, when people look
I have an issue with the fact that they're calling this Kicks a futuristic design when it looks just like every other crossover.
But it doesn't, though.
But it does, though.
We'll agree to disagree.
The Juke looked original.
The Juke, ew.
The Juke was ugly.
Thank you.
I liked it, but wasn't it so ugly that it was cute?
No.
It was ugly. UGL ugly.
Ugly with a capital ugly.
Thank you.
Okay. You've got the music. You've got the commercial queued, sir.
Hold on, I gotta go get them.
Okay.
But I'm trying at the moment to fix their little issue.
Okay.
Jack, can you also take a listen at this, please? I'm going to set this back just a little bit so you can actually hear him.
No, I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it.
What happened?
You're just,
It's a little too hot.
you're coming off too hot.
Mm. I've been told that. Dum-dum. Part of the mayhem that goes on and part of the technical challenges that go on behind the scenes. If you've never, or if you've ever wondered what happens really in a radio station when you hear the perfect sounds of the perfect show and everything seems to be going so well, yeah, check them out at the break and see them frantically doing things. We're no different. So, yeah, you're getting it real time, and they're trying to fix a sound quality problem before we go into our next segment. So.
Yeah, I'm going to let him go ahead and finish that, but we'll keep you talking. I don't understand why I prefer a vehicle.
He's good right now.
Good? Okay.
Okay. 9 minutes. Did you get the jingle?
I just got to go grab him.
Okay, let's grab the jingle. And I love this jingle. It is classic.
We're going to agree to that.
It's
no, he's right. It is classic.
No.
You don't know
Oh,
Andy
come on,
Granatelli? Are you kidding me?
Actually, you're right. I don't. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry.
I'm not touching that.
Are you not?
No.
Tire or STP?
STP's first.
Okay. God bless it.
And then the second one is pretty cool commercial. I'd never heard
I liked
it before.
I liked it.
No, I've never heard that commercial.
I never had either, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Might be
I'm
nice if I
going to be
talk to the mic,
submitting
though.
a commercial to you. I ran across it while I was listening to my old time radio station, and it was about it was comparing the lane changer drivers to the slowpoke drivers to the speeders.
What was they selling?
It was, the tagline was, "Don't be the cause, but don't be the victim."
So it was a safety commercial.
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, it would have been 1960s, 1950s.
Yeah, 60s. After the passage of the Motor Vehicle Safety Act, Highway Safety Act.
Right. So I just thought it would be, and it had this nice little jingle to the background. I thought it was really neat.
The commercial I want to find, and I can see it, I just got to go find it, talked about something like that. Guess who Frank and Sally met on the road while passing a truck? And what happens is they're passing an 18-wheeler, and he pulls out the pass. And they literally meet the other couple head-on. You hear the screeching of wheels.
Wow.
Joe and Sally.
What would you say?
Yeah. It's a commercial that speaks about highway safety.
Right, but you said guess who Frank and Sally met?
I'm making up the names. I don't know what the couple is. I'd have to go find it. But I can see the commercial.
Okay.
When you're ready, sir.
I am ready.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
Jingle and all kinds of fun stuff.
Jingle's ready.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, hang on.
The most wonderful time of the year. With the kids.
In 20 years of auto racing, Andy Granatelli, head of the STP Corporation, has picked up a lot of hardware. And the cars he's brought to the Indy 500, like the revolutionary STP turbine cars, they've taken some hardware too. Friction and wear for mile after pounding mile. That's why Granatelli's cars all have STP oil treatment on their side. STP is the racer's edge. It cuts the friction, cuts the wear, and it cuts the mustard. And not only in Granatelli's cars, most race drivers want STP on their side to keep running racer sharp. Help your family car, old or new, run smoother, cooler, quieter, longer. Have your gasoline station add STP to your oil.
STP. STP is the racer's edge.
If you're just joining us, welcome to part 2 of this holiday version of Roadworthy Drive with Ken Chester. Definitely not your father's car show. Take a few minutes and find out why. Here on Roadworthy Drive, I've been keeping you plugged in, and that pun is intended, with regard to alternative fuels and power sources like hydrogen and battery electric cars. Now, during this segment, I want to explore the possibilities of your next car, possibly an electric, actually making money for you while it's parked. The advantages, income for you, and actually longer battery life for the car. Does that sound too good to be true?
Yes.
Check this out. Well, here's the thing. This all started because I stumbled across a company called NUVVE. That's N-U-V-V-E. And they are what you call a vehicle-to-grid company. They develop vehicle-to-grid solutions. And I started digging into this because they had just received what they call Series A financing. They got $50 million invested by a group which includes a subsidiary of Toyota, by the way, and a private equity fund. Now, their whole take on things is that they're the world's first and only commercial available true vehicle-to-grid solution, enabling select electric vehicles to store and resell energy to the electric grid. I'm going to let that sink in. Here's the thing. We talked about, a number of months ago, we talked about a University of Warwick study in which the engineers had developed, I believe, some sort of app or algorithm that would allow an electric battery to discharge into the grid for a price, and the benefit was actually improving the condition of the battery. And they had an app to figure out for that particular battery where that was. In other words, how much percent of the battery that would work, so that you'd always have enough battery power for what you needed to do, but any surplus could go to the grid.
So it was trying to find a sweet spot.
And it did.
Okay.
Actually. And that's the thing. Can you imagine the ability of these vehicles with the falling price, and we've reported it here over a period of time, the falling price of lithium-ion batteries and the rise of battery storage. Battery storage is actually the next best thing. The biggest problem that renewables had, solar and wind, was because of the unpredictability of when that was available. Sunshiny days versus cloudy days, windy days versus not. How to get it into the grid in a way that it would work for the grid.
Okay, I think here's a question a lot of people will be asking. How does a power company know how to reimburse me?
You know, I am so glad you asked that question, because I, of course, have the answer. It is called arbitrage, believe it or not.
Excuse me?
Yes. When the electric utility would like to buy power from the vehicle-to-grid network, it holds an auction. The car owners are able to define the parameters under which they will sell energy from their battery pack. Now, manufacturers are considered when setting the minimum sale price, including the cost of the secondary fuel in a plug-in hybrid and battery cycle wear. When this minimum price is satisfied, it is deemed as meeting arbitrage. Basically, you can program it that says, for your vehicle, I will be willing to sell it when they're willing to pay this much per minute, per kilowatt, whatever.
Okay.
If you're willing to pay this for it, I'll sell it to you. I've got this much surplus. I'm willing to sell it to you for X, Y, or Z. So basically, that's the easy part, because all of that can be automated.
Okay.
You set your parameters for what you're willing to do, and it does the rest. But it's unbelievable, because here's the thing. Could you imagine owning an electric vehicle that has the ability of powering your house?
Now that I wouldn't mind.
But think about it. If you can power the grid, you can power your house depending on the cycle of what you need when you need it.
And didn't we talk about a couple of weeks ago about the distribution of power going to maybe neighborhood to neighborhood?
And that's what this, imagine this. If you've got solar panels, maybe on folks' homes.
Yep.
And maybe you're in the country, so it's a rural division where you're maybe even able to put up like a couple of turbines, maybe not commercial grade, but smaller turbines, like they used to have on farms years ago for well water.
Yes.
Imagine if you could generate all this renewable energy and have it available to sell or distribute through the grid in your rural neighborhood. and never, ever have to, or very infrequently, have to buy from the grid.
I have been watching TV a lot lately, and I've seen some shows coming from Australia, and they were talking about the fact that a lot of those places that are out in the outback are strictly ran on solar power.
Yeah.
That's what Elon Musk recently did in South Australia. He provided the link between the renewable energy farm of solar and wind with battery storage that could release into the grid in a dependable, predictable way. They said this is the first time in years that they were able to deliver power around the clock in a predictable, measurable, regular way. Because, again, the problem with wind and solar is it's available when it's available. You know, how do you store it when maybe the grid doesn't need it right now? But, okay, at night, during a cold snap or whatever, you need it. Now you've got a way to release it into the system. And again, remember, we've reported here, the cost of battery storage, be it in a car, be it stationary, is falling like a rock. And with all the technology that's going on right now, it's going to continue to fall. Do you realize that even when a battery gets to the end of its life in a car, you can still repurpose it for a stationary storage facility?
No, I did not know that.
They're looking at doing that as well. So you might be able, your car might be able to level your need to buy from the grid at your house, may be able to sell it either at home, maybe you're plugged in at work, and you can sell it into the grid while it's sitting there. They say 95% of the time that car is around, it's sitting doing nothing. And they estimate that basically you can sell 20% of its capacity and still improve the condition of the battery, making the battery last longer, while at the same time making money. And here's something else for you, too, to think about. Each one of these cars typically are good for about 50 kilowatt hours. Each one of these cars to a utility for their grid is worth, wait for it, $4,000.
Wow.
That's today.
I had no idea.
That's today. That is today. With the falling prices of battery storage, and you can help utilities defer having to build new plants.
Yep.
You know, it helps. So, when I come back, Ward's 10 best engines. Should you care? In my rent-worthy moment, something you should never do. You're riding shotgun with Ken and RoadWorthy Drive.
You're listening to RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester on the RoadWorthy Drive Radio Network.
Now, is this $4,000 a day? Is this $4,000 a month?
Probably $4,000 over its life. But still, that's $4,000.
Okay.
$4,000 is $4,000, and that's today.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We are on such a cusp of a major revolution in power generation, power distribution, power storage, that the cost of electricity, which was never ridiculous to begin with through most of the country, but not all of the country, may fall like a rock, not to mention, could you imagine the day when high-tension, long-distance power lines may be obsolete or rare?
Yeah.
Well,
Because this was the big issue about everybody about, ooh, security. Oh, our power grids, all kinds of FUBAR. We need to do something. Imagine if you could go neighborhood by neighborhood. Take our community. A community, we're the capital of the state. Our community, roughly, if you look at the contiguous counties in the metro area, has a population combined. And I'm talking about contiguous counties
about
and everything.
500,000.
No, about 350,000.
Okay.
But imagine if you could take that and break it into 20, 30, 50 neighborhoods of interdependent or independent power generation and consumption.
Right.
Maybe they're interlocking because maybe if I'm on the southwest side and I got a surplus, you've got a deficiency in the northwest side, I can send it through the grid and sell it to you. But the beautiful part of it is you don't have to worry about a power plant that's 40, 50, 100, 200 miles away for that. Plus, here's something else to think about. The utilities use something what they call generator spinning. The spinning capacity is generators offline but warmed up, ready to go in for base level or what they call base load if needed. They're not online, but they're warm, hot, ready to go online at a moment's notice. Having this link of battery storage now eliminates the need for even those spinning generators, which cost money if they're not being used.
Okay, but what does that say if we go into that kind of mentality? If it is going to be neighborhood to neighborhood and an interlocking versus
Well,
a
and I think one of the things that has to be done first is somebody has to start addressing the potential. I'm hoping to God it never happens. But if you have an EMP right now, this whole grid is touched.
No, what I'm talking about
Yeah, but
is
that's
that
for anybody anywhere.
I understand that.
I mean, that's
but,
the world right now.
But supposedly you are able to do something. I do not know what the cost is.
It's called a Faraday box.
well, and
I mean-
honestly, isn't that obsolete now with the whatchamacallit paint? With the
Well, you could go with the graphene paint.
graphene paint.
But
I mean, that's,
basically, graphene paint is a glorified Faraday box.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
but
here's my thing, though. If you come down to that, the neighborhoods that have got people with a lot more money who are able to do this on a regular basis are going to have more power than the neighborhoods that...
I disagree.
But you should be able to. This should be an equal playing field. If you're in this whatever he called it system, let's
Right.
call it, everybody goes in and competes equally.
Well,
Okay, but
hold
And,
on.
and in the middle of the summer, quite frankly,
Everybody's going to get paid.
everybody's going to get paid, A, and B, right now, our power company is able to, if you participate, shut your air conditioning off for 20 minutes every hour. But they also compensate you for
They
that
do,
as well.
but you're missing the point. The point is the freedom and decentralization of the grid. If the grid is decentralized, right now we're at a greater risk because power comes from a generation station over high power lines to a community and substations which step it down and distribute it.
Right.
If
Right.
you are producing and distributing in a neighborhood, okay, number one. Number two, you could reasonably argue that most of these cars would be effectively Faraday boxes themselves.
Yeah.
Basically, the bottom line is, and I'll let this go, this is so exciting because in 20 years, we will wonder why we were even fooling with the internal combustion engine. There is so much coming that is so amazing, and we're still just scratching the surface of this. I didn't even cover half of the paperwork I got here. Didn't even get into it.
Okay.
It's amazing. All I'm saying, folks, is it's coming. The economics are going to blow you away, and you necessarily will not be paying more money to get more benefit. And that's the beautiful part about the technology. The technology may actually pay you. And we'll go one further, and then I'll let it go. Add on top of that, autonomous cars. We talked about ownership. Let's say you choose to own an autonomous car. Let's say, like what Tesla's trying to do now, you plug into a network where while you're at work under certain circumstances, you will make your car available for a fee for someone else to use and get paid. So theoretically, you might come down to a very low outlay and maybe a surplus by owning it.
Yep.
Between the power grid, availability to rent it out for short periods under certain circumstances at certain rates, of course, that you would set.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Let's say you got a fancy one. You don't want everyone driving it. So you say, I'll make it available like what Uber does, surge pricing, that if it hits this level, my vehicle's available. For other people, it may be lower, it may be higher. The beautiful part is this future gives the individual more control than they've ever had to control what they spend, where they spend it, and how to get paid. And that's the beautiful part
and
about
let's
it.
face one thing, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Do you know what an extra $4,000 a year could do for me or anybody else who's in that position?
And bear in mind, that's just the power part.
Yeah.
What if it's an autonomous car you own, and you said, hey, I don't want everybody in my car, but if you're willing to pay me, and I'm just throwing out a number here because I don't know if it would be per minute or per trip or whatever.
Right.
Let's say you work downtown.
Yep.
And let's say a local delivery company needs something downtown. They want to phase out the bikes. And you say, I will make my vehicle available from 9 to 3 within this parameter at this rate a minute. And you set the rate. This is the rate you feel for people who are qualified. Obviously, they'd have to be vetted. And that thing's making money for you maybe 3, 4, 5 days a week. And depending on the flow of what's going on downtown, maybe In some weeks, it's all 5 days. In some other weeks, it might be 2 days. And in some weeks, it may be not at all. But you're in control.
Okay.
So it's coming, man. It's an amazing thing that's coming. So, okay, third segment.
Okay, you got to wait a minute.
Okay.
Yes. Hi. Yes.
And every now and then we have to stop for Mama. The joys of recording as opposed to live.
Okay.
Because we record, we can take these moments, take these breaks. But as you can see, we're very passionate about what we believe and our opinions on it. We're really some of the front lines of this tech that we're seeing. And we're just scratching the surface of what we have to share with you in terms of everything going on.
Right.
It's deeper, it's more involved, and it's coming. To those that are tech naysayers, and we got them, just because
Jack.
they say it is not true does not mean it's not going to happen. There's billions of dollars being spent as we talk about electric generation, storage, distribution, a whole bunch of other things. And that's just one piece of it. We notice we haven't even talked about the autonomous car in all this. That's a whole nother thing going on. So that's what's going on, folks. So, okay, third segment, 9 minutes. Okay.
Sorry that took so long.
Not a problem. When you're ready, say the word.
When Mama calls, I got to talk to her.
No, got that. Got that.
Here we go.
Okay. Yes, this is RoadWorthy Drive, in case you were wondering. It's the next to last segment. Thank you for dropping by, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas. I'm Ken Chester. For those of you that want or need more than your share of the road, check out our show website, roadworthydrive.com. Let me say that again. It's www.roadworthydrive.com, so it will work right. Find audio clips of past shows, videos of our weekly behind-the-scenes antics, and more. You can also find out the times we are on YouTube Live. See us in action as we strive to produce the show in studio and enjoy the very animated conversations that don't make it into our weekly radio show. You can also find out where we are in the universe of social media. Sasha is our social media diva who labors during the week to share interesting, engaging, and timely topics of a technical nature. See how she keeps the social in our social media. Now, with the literal trillions of dollars in and around the automotive industry, makes sense for the automakers to tout every advantage they can find, or even make up to get noticed in the minds of consumers. The advertising marketing companies that are in and around the industry are usually too willing to assist. Getting the automakers noticed also improves the stature of their survey, award, or study that they're involved with. Here's another one for your consideration. I'm going to ask in studio here of Jack and Sasha. Have you ever heard of the award called Ward's 10 Best Engines?
No, I've heard of Montgomery Ward.
Never mind. Never mind, Jack.
No, I have not.
Okay. Would an engine being on a 10 best list impact your choice when you're shopping for a new vehicle in terms of selecting that vehicle?
I'm going to say no. I don't.
Well, no, I'm asking. I mean, I'm not saying
No.
that there's a right or wrong answer here.
No.
I'm also going to say no because
Okay.
I'm looking at gas mileage more than anything else.
Okay.
Well, and then Ken and I we've talked about it right here on the show about how accurate are the awards, quote unquote.
Well, there's not only that too, but when it comes to engines, What I'm looking for is if I step into it, is it going to respond? B, can it get me out of a jam? And what's the average gas mileage going to be? That's what I look at when I'm looking at an engine for a vehicle I'm thinking of buying.
Okay, well, let me give you the history. First, the magazine itself, and then I'll tell you about the survey itself. Now, Ward's has been around since about 1920. Let me find it. I want to say 27, and I'm not sure that's right. I think it's 24, but I'll find it. Okay, 1924. Absolutely. It is an automotive trade magazine that's been published since 1924 and continues into modern times with a monthly print version. And they talk about engines. That's what they do.
Okay,
Ward's Engine and Vehicle Technology Update. Well, here's the thing. Ward's 10 Best Engines Award is an annual list by them of the best engines available in the U.S. market. The engine must be available in a vehicle with a base price, get this now, of no more than $60,000 for the and this was for 2015, it's $63,000 now. For the 2017, we'll talk about that in a minute. During a 2-month testing period, Ward's editors evaluate each engine according to a number of objective and subjective criteria in everyday driving situations. Now, this is something I need to point out. There is no instrumented testing. There's no metrics that they actually apply.
They don't put it on a dyno.
No, they don't put it on a dyno. They don't put any instruments to it to measure for noise or vibration or anything. It's all subjective and objective by their editors based on their experience.
There's no factual data that they use to decide this.
Not scientific data, no.
Okay.
The selection takes into account power and torque output, noise, vibration, and harshness levels, technical relevance, and basic comparative numbers. Each engine competes against all others. Now, I got curious. Excuse me. I got curious, and I said to myself, and I looked, okay, of the automakers, over these 22 years, I'm sorry, how many awards or how many engines did automakers win? And who won the most? What automaker got the most awards or recognition by Ward's magazine during this period?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic automaker or foreign automaker?
The top one?
Yeah.
Foreign.
I am going to say BMW.
You're right.
Ding, ding, ding,
Nice.
What do
Good
you
job.
know?
Woo!
BMW with 32 awards. Who was second?
Foreign or domestic?
Oh,
Army.
no. See, I can't give it away now because that
No,
would give it
foreign
away.
or domestic.
No, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to guess.
It's either got to be Chevy or Ford.
I'm saying Ford.
General Motors.
Really?
And Ford was third. And here's the thing. After a number of years of no truck engines in the top 10,
Right.
2017,
No.
F-150,
Yes!
2.7 liter EcoBoost 6-cylinder engine made their list. But here's the thing.
Yes.
Jack just bought a new truck.
Yep.
Didn't concern. Now, I'm assuming that the 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 is the engine in your truck.
Wrong, Kimosabi.
What do you got?
I've got the 8-cylinder.
So you've got that would be the 5.3
5.3 V8.
Triton V8.
Yep.
Why did you pick the V8?
I was able to drive both.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought the V8 had a little more pickup. Now, the last truck that I had had a V8.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting what I considered fantastic gas mileage.
So basically, this list didn't mean anything to you.
No, not at all.
Because you actually chose an engine that wasn't in the top 10 over the engine that was.
Correct.
So again, and I asked the listeners, does an engine being in Ward's top 10 mean anything to you? We'd love to hear from you. Maybe it is a big deal to you. Maybe not. Here's another thing, and really the one that got me started on all this is a press release from Fiat Chrysler that says, and I quote, 3.6-liter Pentastar e-hybrid named one of Ward's 10 best engines for second year in a row. And I got to thinking, does that even matter? And here's one of the questions Ward's does ask. Does the powertrain sell the vehicle? In Jack's case, no.
No, actually, in my case, yes, it did.
No, but the one that made their list didn't
Oh,
sell.
no. You're right. I'm sorry. I thought you were going the other way with it.
The one that made their list for your truck did not close the deal for you.
No.
That's the point. So there's so much of this, folks. You know, this, and I'm not begrudging Wards. It's just that at some point, when you get barraged with all this information, what is credible? It's nice to know it's a wonderful engine. And I would have a list of my own engines, which may or may not match with Ward's. But it's just one of those many things that you get bombarded with as a potential buyer. When I come back, we will talk about my rant. Roadworthy Drive with Ken Chester is heard exclusively on the Roadworthy Drive Radio Network.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y feliz.
This is Roadworthy Drive.
Okay, I've got a request.
Okay.
Before y'all do that, this year's winners, 2018. First place, the electric propulsion system in the Chevy Volt. Second, Chrysler Pacific Hybrid. Third, 2.7 twin turbo Ford F-150, that V6 we talked about. Fourth, again Ford, 5-liter V8 in the Ford Mustang GT. Next up, the fuel cell system in the Honda Clarity. Then the 2-liter VTEC turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Honda Civic Type R. 3-liter turbocharged V6 Infiniti Q50. 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Jaguar XF. 3.3-liter turbocharged V6 in the Kia Stinger. And last of all, the 2.5-liter Atkinson 4-cylinder hybrid in the Toyota Camry Hybrid.
Now,
Hang on. Go back to that one model you just said a couple up.
Kia Stinger.
Kia Stinger.
What is a Stinger? It's not
One
sold here.
extremely fast Kia 4-door.
Is it sold here?
I'm
Yes,
looking up right
last
now.
year. I got pictures of it. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, first product from the guy they hired from BMW.
Oh.
Yeah. Thing does not play.
And it's so funny because this is how scary connected I am. We were just talking about Kia Stinger. I went to type in Kia on my phone, and Google's like, were you asking about the Stinger?
Yeah, well, welcome to Brave New World.
Yep.
Now, here
Segment
in a minute,
4,
it
let's
is-
go.
It is straight up fussing time. Oh, my God. Yeah. it's
Okay,
rant
so
time.
do have a request then, since
Yes.
you're doing Christmas music.
Okay.
Only because for those that are out there, if it does the same thing to you, simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The one where the opening sounds like the Halloween movie.
Oh, no.
Dun dun dun
I
dun dun
don't know
dun
that I
dun
can
dun.
do that. Hang on.
It seriously sounds like that song from the Halloween movie, the one that had nothing to do with Jason. It.
I would not know.
Okay.
6
No,
more.
I don't have that where I can get it really fast. So.
Okay.
And we're going to have to live with what he's got. This is the fourth segment, and it's 8 minutes, 50 seconds.
I have one more question though about the engines though. One of the things when I sold vehicles, and of course you know I sold Jeeps. One of the
I'm sorry.
I know. Leave my Patriot alone. I love my Patriot.
Hey, I ain't got no
forever and
hate
ever
against Patriot.
and ever and ever.
I ain't got no hate against Patriot.
Do not like the Grand Cherokee. Do not like the Cherokee. Loved my Patriot though,
Okay, your question.
and the Wrangler Unlimited. Anyway, sorry.
Your question.
Time and time and time again, I had customers that frequently requested I think it was the i9 A-line engine. They wanted a certain like I engine in their Jeeps.
They wanted a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder.
I wanted something with the I. I could have sworn it had an I in it.
Good luck with that.
Okay, can we go?
Hold it. I got a mouthful of food here.
Oh, and he eats when we're supposed to go on here.
You know.
Better than having a low sugar incident.
Yeah, good point.
I'm falling out on air. That would not be cute.
No, that would not be cute. We'd probably leave you alone until we got the segment done. And please know, folks, I'm kidding, okay?
They just see like Ken on the floor.
Send your hate mail to Jack. No, I'm kidding.
If y'all can't tell, we have a whole lot of fun doing this.
We do.
Oh.
Can't find your engine, can you?
I'll have to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am not responsible for the next one I'm playing.
I-4 engine. That's what it was. Told you.
2.5-liter four-cylinder engine.
I said it had something to do with You can't talk to me about actual facts about it. You have to go with like the chick version. You're not going to touch that one at all?
No.
Come on now. Just step right there.
In the words of my executive producer, not my monkey.
Not my surface.
Ready when you are, Jack.
I'm ready. Nor am I responsible, ladies and gentlemen, for what I'm about to play.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa.
Yes, as you can tell, we are having our holiday version of RoadWorthy Drive. Thank you for tuning in. This is the final segment. I'm Ken Chester. When I started out in the automotive business a number of years ago, the first venture that I had was an automotive purchase consulting firm. That's fancy language for the art of assisting customers through the steps of vehicle purchase, from a conversation of what their needs were to what vehicles were worthy of the consideration in the marketplace, to the independent evaluation of the value of the vehicle to be traded in, down to the actual negotiation and even delivery. I have made it my mission to educate consumers about the process so that they will always be in control of it with the kind of outcome that they desire. But every now and then...
Hold it. The following is a rant by Ken Chester. It does not reflect the editorial policy of RoadWorthy Drive, Jack DeLeon, or Sasha Little. Go ahead.
Oh, my. Wow. Wow. So much for the talent. Okay. Wow. No love up in here. Anyway, during the holiday season, where's the love? Any case, here's the thing. Got a phone call this past week.
Okay.
My sister-in-law from out of state. She is in a frantic.
What state is she in?
I'm not going to... No.
Okay.
I would prefer not to do that.
Northeast, northwest?
Northeast.
Northeast,
That's
okay.
as far as I'm going.
That's fine.
She had a friend who was in trouble relatively. She owned a car, a 2012, that she had had a lot of repair work done to, which first is suspect. And second, the car doesn't run now.
Was it like a lemon car? I mean, was that the kind of repairs?
I don't know. But here's the problem. I get the phone call. I said, okay, I'll talk to her. Not sure what I can do. She's sitting at the dealership.
Oh, no.
Had the car towed to the dealership.
Oh,
it does not run. She doesn't have any family. My sister-in-law's at work. She can't come get her. And this woman is sitting on the sales floor.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. Granted, the best I could do for her that day was mitigate the series of bad choices.
Okay.
Okay?
Did she have a deal on paper before she had it towed to the dealership?
No.
Was it one of those tow it here, get so much?
No.
She just
regular dealer.
Picked a dealer.
I don't know how she got there, but she was there.
Okay.
Here's my problem.
Okay.
1, buying a vehicle, I've said it a million times, is something you plan for. I don't blame the dealership as much as I blame the individual. Number one, let's back up before we even get to there. You've got a car that's 5 years old or newer. You're spending thousands of dollars. Something is wrong, and you should have put your foot down with the first major expense.
Yep.
And had it dealt with. Again, water over the bridge, water under the bridge. Nothing I can do about it.
Exactly.
Correct. Okay, you're going to tow your vehicle to the dealer.
Yep.
It does not run. Now, fairness to the dealer. Dealer doesn't know what's wrong with it. Doesn't know if he's got to put in $100, $1,000, or too much money. It's not even worth fixing.
Exactly.
And oh, did I mention she owed money on it?
Oh.
It
Lord.
gets worse.
Okay.
It does.
Now, so here she is. She wants, and they're showing her gladly, a slightly used SUV, small one.
Okay.
Okay. She said, I don't want to go above my payment where I'm at now, and I have no money to put down. And her credit score is below 550.
Ooh.
It just keeps getting worse.
It gets so much better.
Now, I told her, one, that's not going to happen because your car is dead. They're going to have to roll that. If you're lucky, I said, they'll pay off the car, but that you're still on the wait for the whole purchase price of the car you're trying to buy. I said, if you're going to go through all of this, forget the used one, and you don't need an SUV because the operating cost would be higher. I said, number one, the monthly payment that you're telling them to stay to, that's not happening. Two, you're going to pay a long time on this thing. And three, your interest rate's going to probably be high. Yeah. Let's try that her payment, and I got her out of that slightly used SUV. I said, if you're going to go through all this, get a new car.
Yep.
Get a brand new car. I told her what to look. Yep. I said, see what you can get. I said, look at this trim level. Don't go for the top trim level. Take it for a drive. I said, if you're going to go through all this, particularly with what you've just been through, you want protection from the manufacturer with their warranty.
Yep.
Okay? So, how did it end? Almost 15% interest, almost over 6 years payment, and she just stuck. Because I was surprised that they would even lend her the money with her credit score that bad.
What did they get her into? I assume a brand new car.
Brand new car.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you that either.
Okay, was it foreign or domestic?
Foreign. Well, foreign make, American made. I'll tell you that. So, what did we learn from all this? Over and over, I tell you, if you know that your vehicle is on its last legs, but it's still running, you need to sit down, look at your budget, and start making plans. Don't wait till the car dies and your mechanic says it will cost more to fix it than it will replace it. Number one. Number two, get an idea of your budget. If you know what you're walking into, even if it's a year away, don't wait until the last minute. Take that year. You know what you're going to get back in your tax return. Maybe that's your down payment. You know what you can afford. Be realistic. Go while the dealerships are closed. That's like after church on a Sunday or a Sunday afternoon or an evening. That way you can look around and kind of get your head wrapped around something that you might like to drive. Take notes. When you go to the dealer, test drive the vehicles and be honest with them. Tell them, I'm not prepared to buy today.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what it is I even want.
Yep.
These things are important, people. They really are, because every single day people get stuck. That's not the dealer's fault.
No.
The dealer is just like any other business person. They want to make money. That's the business they're in, to maximize the money they make. If you are an unprepared consumer, don't put that on the dealer.
Yep.
Because you didn't do your homework. And honestly, an automobile is the second largest purchase most people are going to make after buying a home or financing college. Why don't we do better at planning? Everybody thinks they know something about cars until they get there. Then they realize they're not prepared.
Well, and how much, I'm going to try to say this gently, how much of this was the problem that she was female?
I don't know. Because here's the thing.
And there's potential problems there, and we've discussed it here before.
That could be. But the problem is she wasn't prepared. She did a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
Which means, they were going to bury her.
Yes.
And all I could do was mitigate it, get her into a new car, try to not get it in expenses, but, you just can't win. Well, as usual, that's all the time we have. Enough said with the rant. On behalf of Jack, Sasha, and myself, thanks for tuning in. You have been listening to RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Merry Christmas.
RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester is a copyrighted presentation of the RoadWorthy Drive Radio Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use is prohibited without the written consent of the Motor News Media Corporation.
All I'm saying, folks, is when it comes to buying a car, I don't care if you have $2,000, $500, $50,000. Do your homework. Don't wait till the last minute. Here's something you may not realize. I don't care how raggedy your car is. If it's running, it's worth money. If it's not running, it's worth less. If it doesn't have to run well. If it's running, you can use that as part of your down payment or trade it on the next car, less money out your pocket. Don't wait until it dies. If you know it's kind of on its last legs, if you're out there 15 years, you know you're going to have to replace this car, start making the plans. Figure out how you're going to get there and what you're going to do so you can earmark your money when you get your tax return back. So you have some kind of plan, even if it's still 6 months, 8 months, 12 months away. That way, you're prepared. If the car should die sooner, you know what you're going to do. So, enough of the rant. On behalf of Jack, Sasha, myself, we appreciate you driving by. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and let's be careful out there. See you later.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.